Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next session from RocketChat Weekly Product Tours. So today we're going to show you a short demo about the product, of course. But before we're going to show you a demo, we're going to show you a short presentation about RocketChat first as an organization, and then what we are offering as RocketChat within our solution. So let me start sharing my screen. Yes, you can see my screen right now. So today we're talking about RocketChat. RocketChat is a communication platform that puts data protection first. So we as an organization, we're the world's largest open source communications platform. We have not defined it ourselves, as it's been defined by GitHub. And what's maybe also good to know is that RocketChat has been deployed in over 150 different countries. We are an open source solution with over 1,000 different contributors. We have a lot of registered users and, of course, also a lot of different servers deployed. Our goal is to enable collaboration between colleagues, business partners, and customers without compromise. Where you will always own your data, you will always own your workspace and own your own conversations. Why is this so important for us? This is important for us because we would like you to give ownership about every conversation that you're having internally and externally. So why are people reaching out to us? Why are people looking for a secure communications platform? So the first reason why they're reaching out is that because enterprise communications is broken. A lot of times they use different types of tools for external communications, different types of tools for internal communications, and they just see that they are not connected, all of them together. And the second reason is a lot of times also that your data has been exposed. Because if you see some of the logos on the right side, you will see that some of these platforms can use your data for commercial purposes. And that's, of course, not what you want to have with your secure chats that you're having internally with your colleagues. And of course, on the right side, you will also see some logos that are not offering a self-managed or an on-premise deployment option. So these are two reasons why customers are reaching out to us. Of course, also for some other reasons, and that's also what we're helping them with RocketChat. So how can RocketChat help you? First of all, we as RocketChat, we're delivering a secured chat platform. We're helping you to be GDPR compliant, and of course, we also are ISO certified. Our solution can be hosted as SaaS offering, or you can also have the on-premise offering. First of all, we are helping you with the team collaboration. With team collaboration, you can secure, so that means end-to-end encrypted with your colleagues. So you can do a chat, you can do some audio calls, some video calls, and of course, you can also do some file sharing. You can do that with a direct messaging. You can also, of course, do that in group conversations. So there are multiple ways of collaborating with your colleagues. Next thing is, of course, we also would like you to communicate not only with your colleagues, but also with your partners, or maybe with your other organizations. So how can you set up a secured federation between your organization and between another organization that you're working with? How can you make sure that you can have a secure chat in between both organizations? So we within RocketChat, we can help you with this, and we are having different types of secured protocols that we're using that to make sure that you can securely communicate with your partners or with the other organizations that you're working with. Of course, you as an organization also have a lot of different customers. And your customers, they a lot of times have a question for you. Of course, they can send an email, but they also can send a WhatsApp or an Instagram, or they can send a Facebook Messenger. So there are different ways of reaching out to you. And if they're trying to reach out to you, you would like to make sure that all of these questions come into the right queue, and that you as an organization, your team, your customer support team can see all of the messages coming in one particular queue, and then they can start answering from within RocketChat. So we have connectors to all of these different social media platforms, and we have a complete routing mechanism to make sure that all of the messages will end up into the right support queues. Next to this, also have some apps and some integrations. So our complete platform is available via APIs. And via these APIs, you will also see that you can use our apps, but you also can create your own apps. And there's some of the logos that you see there on the right side. These are already some apps that we have available. For example, Salesforce, Jira, Dropbox, Nextcloud, or some other ones. So we have multiple ways of integrating our RocketChat platform with your existing IT landscape. So we can see that we have different types of use cases with RocketChat and different types of function possibilities to collaborate with your colleagues or with your external partners. The first thing that I can do right now is I can show you a lot of more different slides, or I can just also show you the platform. So let me just maybe jump into the platform. Um, I just already mentioned that RocketChat is available via APIs, but of course we also have a nice user interface that you can access via the browser. We also have a nice app that you can use to integrate it in your desktop, or of course we also have the mobile applications available. Let me maybe first start with the browser. So in the browser, you can see here if I logged on as on my demo server, I logged on here as Lisa. Lisa is part of a company that's called Green Energy. So you see here the welcome screen. This welcome screen can be completely customized according to your needs. You can see here the administration layout, home body, because our complete solution can be white labeled. Lisa is part of the HR team. You can see here her teams, her discussions, her channels, and the direct messages. She's part of the HR team. So Lisa can see who else is part of the HR team. In this case, it's Bert, and this is Lisa. She can also invite other people manually, so you can send them an invitation link. Or what's maybe also good to know is that if a new person is added into the HR team in the Active Directory, they will be automatically joined in the HR team and they will be automatically part of all the conversations that Lisa is part of. How can we set this up? We can set this up with the different team channels. In the different team channels, you can see that Lisa is part of the expenses channel and the company culture channel. And if somebody will be added to this team, then they will be automatically auto-joining these different conversations. These conversations are different group conversations. So we have here a conversation called company culture. In this group conversation, you can send messages. You can, of course, send smileys if you want to. You can send here audio messages. You can send here audio messages. You can also share here different files, different video messages of multiple ways of communicating in a quick and easy way with your colleagues. On the right side, you can also see what type of other options that we have for this particular group conversation. You can see for this group conversation how many people are part of this conversation. You can see what the different types of discussions that we have in this channel, which different type of threads that we have. I can do a search, and of course, I also have the option to see all of my start messages, my pinned messages, or my notifications or my files that I can manage here. If I'm sharing a message with my colleagues, you can also see for each different message, you can also start to quote, giving some responses here. So I can, for example, here add a particular smile on this message. And I also have the option here to, for each different message, to get a link, to edit it, and to just make sure that I have a very user-friendly way of collaborating with my colleagues. This group conversation that you see here, this right now has a secure lock icon. So the secure lock icon means that it's a private group conversation. If I'm clicking here on create new, I can create a new channel, team, direct message, or discussions, or I can click here on just a channel. And if I'm clicking here on channel, then I can give a new channel a name. I can answer here a particular name, and then I can say it's a private group conversation. If it's a private one, means that only the invited users can access the channel, or if I'm clicking on this one, then it's a public one, then everybody can access the channel. So we have multiple ways of creating a private or a group, private or public group conversation. We can also define if a conversation is read-only, if it's end-to-end encrypted, or we can also just set up a broadcasting messaging. And if we're creating a channel, of course, we can also define the different types of members that we add here. So we have a team, we have different discussions, different channels, and we can also send direct messages to our colleagues. If we're sending a direct message, I can ask here that, for example, to my colleagues, I can send any type of message, and I just can ask here, how is your phone number? And I'm just sending a message to Mike. You see that Mike is receiving immediately a response on the right side. He's getting a notification. He's getting a notification because Mike is logged on in the desktop application. So if I'm right now opening up the desktop application, you will see that Mike is logged on here. Mike, he's also part of a company called Green Energy. You can also see here that you can change the layout of these screens if you want to. But Mike is also not part of the HR team, but Mike is part of the engineering team. As part of the engineering team, you will see that we have different types of other users. And we also have, Mike is also with the engineering team part of other channels, like a solar plant, wind plant, and a gas plant channel. You can also create new channels here if you want. As Mike is part of the engineering team, he can see different types of conversations, and he can see that he has some direct messages. One of these direct messages is just a ping that he just received from Lisa. And Lisa just asked, hey, what's your phone number? So in this case, Mike is going to respond with his phone number. So we just answering his phone number. And the system is automatically identifying that, hey, the message here was blocked due to some sensitive content. If we click on the button More Info, then we see that the following types of sensitive information was detected inside the message. It's a phone number. Status is pending approval. So the system has identified that we are sharing some sensitive information, and he's going to highlight and notify one of the managers. In this case, Mike is also the manager, so he's getting a notification in data loss prevention. If he's getting the notification in data loss prevention, in this particular group channel, then you can see that Mike is trying to share sensitive content in a direct message between Mike and Lisa. This is the message. Would you like to approve it or would you like to reject it? From the moment that I click on approve, that moment you see that it's been approved by Mike, and I go back to this conversation, and you see after that the message here is visible for me, for Lisa, and for Mike. So it's a nice way of, we call it data loss prevention, just to make sure that we are not sharing any sensitive information with colleagues or maybe also with externals here. It's maybe also good to know that I just showed you something from Lisa as part of the HR team, and I showed you something from Mike as part of the engineering team. But Mike is also an administrator. And as an administrator, he has different types of options. So he has options to see the administration, can see the auditing from the messages. And as an administrator, he can see the complete admin panel. And in the admin panel that you see, you will see, first of all, info on the right side about the deployment, about the licensing, about the users, something about the federation. But Mike also has the option to configure all of the functionalities via the admin panel. So everything that you can think of in RocketChat almost can be configured via the admin panel. First of all, we see here the users. So we see here different users in the system. These users here can be created manually, or we can also, of course, create them via LDAP. For each different user that we have, we can see that the user has one or multiple roles. So in this case, the Bert user is having the role user and is having the role admin. If we're going here to the permissions tab, here we can configure the role-based permissions. If you click on the permissions tab, you will see on the top all kind of roles available. So we have a role for bot, admin, moderator. So we have different types of roles available. And for each different role, I can enable or disable specific features. I can, for example, say that, hey, this is a leader, and a leader is allowed to do an auto translation. A leader is allowed to do an add team channel. So if I click on this one, it will be enabled. So for each different role, you can enable or disable different features. And as you see in the system, we have over 165 different features that you can enable or disable. You can also create your own roles. So let's say you have a manager role or you have some specific hierarchy within your organization. You can click here on roles and then you can specify this is my new custom role and then you can enable or disable all of the different functionalities. Of course, the functionalities from users and the functionalities from permissions is quite nice, but it is of course very nice if we then can start automating this. You don't want to manually maintain this yourself. Of course, you would like to make sure that if you're adding some users in your LDAP, you can automatically make sure that your users and your groups will be created in that LDAP organization. So we can configure the LDAP settings here. This is a server type Active Directory. You can define the authentication and encryption timeout settings in the LDAP configuration. And on the right side, you can also say that, hey, if some new LDAP group has been created, then I would like to auto-synchronize this with particular roles. For example, if another team has been created in LDAP, then I would like to automatically create also a particular team in RocketChat. This is a quite powerful way of automating your user management and your groups management. It's quite powerful because all of these things here can be automated. One should be do an auto logout or some other functionalities. I just already mentioned that you can configure almost everything here in RocketChat in the admin panel, but you also just can see also the different types of dashboards. So on the right side, you will see which type of dashboard that you have, which type of users are the most active ones, which type of channels are the most active ones, which type of messages are the most active ones. So it's quite powerful to also get an overview of the different usabilities. So we just explained to you a little bit how we can work with Lisa and Mike with each other. But we also would like to communicate with our customers. If we would like to communicate with our customers, in this example, we do have a customer from a company called Green Energy. And this customer is on the website from Green Energy. And this customer has the choice to send a WhatsApp message, an email, or something else. Or he also just can see on the website that there is a little icon where he can just click on chat. And in this case, I'm going to start with Rui. Rui, enter his name, going to enter his email address, and I need help with some sales. And then he can say, please start a chat. If I click on please start a chat, we can start a question. Just say, hello, I have a question. The first thing that Rui, as a customer, what he can see is that thank you for reaching out. An agent would help you ASAP. Your spot is number one. Estimated wait time is number one. So it's quite nice because he's receiving some immediate feedback already that how long he does have to wait. This will be calculated automatically, of course, and it's the reason why it's right now 1 day. It's just because it's a demo server that we're using. I'm right now going back to Mike. Mike has been working here in RocketChat, but Mike also is a support agent. So if Mike says that, hey, I'm a support agent and I'm available at the moment, then Mike can see all of the customer interactions. So he sees a queue chats for all the customer interactions that are happening to my particular department. So he can see here a question from Bert. This question he was sent 2 months ago. This was sent via live chat. He can see the Facebook messages here. So some message here from Facebook has been sent also 2 months ago by another person. And he also just can see the message from Ruby. It's a live chat message to the sales department just a minute ago. Mike has the option to say, hey, the message from Ruby, I see that he's still online because I just see that it's still green. I just can say and start answering right now. So I can click here on please take this one. From the moment that we say that, hey, this is a ticket that we would like to work on, the system is going to identify and say, hey, Ruby is already an existing Salesforce contact. So we can click here on the contact info. We can see that he's already an existing contact in our Salesforce. We can see the different cases. We can see the different, we can create even a new case if you want to. Or we just can say that, hey, I would like to start send a message back to Ruby. I'm just saying, hello, default message. I also just can type your explanation mark, and then we will have some auto responses. In this case, it's hi, contact name, how can I help you? So how Ruby, how can I help you? Switching back, and you can see that we have a live interaction between Mike and between Ruby. Powerful. One of the powers from what you see here is that you will have a live interaction from that support engineer who's working in RocketChat with all of your customers, and these customers can use any of the channels that you would like to. Of course, if the ticket is, Mike says this is not my ticket, I would like to forward this ticket, then you can forward it to another department, or you can forward it to another user if you want to. And of course, last but not least, if the ticket has been covered, then you just can ask a question and just say that, sorry, you can close the chat, and then you just can say, I would like to close this one, and then the ticket will be removed from the queues. Last but not least, from an omni-channel perspective, we also have a very extensive um, admin screen available, where you also can see the complete history from all different chats. You can see complete monitoring from all different chats, but you also just can configure who are my managers, who are my agents, which departments do I have. I have here the sales department. In the sales department, I can say that what the sales department allowed to do, what they can't do. I can define who are my agents from the sales department and which are my business hours. And of course, on the right side, I can also configure all of my different connectors for WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, and all of the other ones. So this was a short video explaining you what you can do with RocketChat. First of all, for talking with colleagues, and the second of all, also working together with your customers. Of course, we are also here to help you with any type of questions. So let's see if there are already any types of questions that we can help you with. Or see my see. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any type of questions. We also have our public server that's open.rocket.chat. You can register there, and of course, you can also ask any type of questions there. So you will find my name there. So that's Bert.Moens. And then you can ping me and also ask any type of questions. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have any type of questions. I will maybe wait for just a few seconds to see if we see anything coming in at the moment. I see that my colleague also already responded to some of these questions. Check is anything else. No? Okay, great. Thank you very much, all. And then nice to have so many people on the call, and see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.